Welcome to the traveling roadshow edition of the Rick Helps Real Estate Show. You may hear a few cars, a couple birds, dogs bark, but I couldn't help but do this outside today. The weather is amazing. Got here yesterday about 4 o'clock. Yes, Keenan, I am here. Good old Washington State. Well, let me show you where I went. And I'm in no hurry to get back in the truck today. I got a friend about 70 miles from here. He goes, "You coming out today?" And I go, "No, I'm not." So you can see that I started way down here in Arizona and ended up here on the Olympic Peninsula. And it was, I took my sweet time. I managed to go, about 4 hours at a shot. And then yesterday, um, my trip was only slated for 3 hours. And I went, I saw a road sign said Seattle 100 miles. And I said, "Oh, the heck with it. Let me keep going." So yesterday was 7 hours. So I'm glad it's over, and I'm not anxious to get back in the truck anytime soon. I want to thank my referral partners, Jackie, Ruby, and Jessica, for helping clients while I'm away, especially Jeffrey and Mandy, getting them under contract. So that's great. And I see you stopped off in Vegas. Actually, Sean, I drove by Vegas. I stayed about 2 hours north of Las Vegas. So I did wave at the casinos. Are you using my money from my last trip? But I did not stop there. So what's going on in the real estate market whilst I'm away? Well, it's nuts. And you can see here, take a look at this biggest indicator, which is our months of supply. And they're sitting here dwindling at about, trying to get my mouse to move over. It's not cooperating with me here. There we are. We're down at 1.6 months of supply. Now, months of supply is everything in real estate. They say 4 to 6 months is about normal. As long as you're sitting down here and you've only got a month and a half's worth of supply, that means that there's enough sales volume to start pushing prices higher. In fact, there's some parts of the valley where we're seeing those stupid bidding wars showing up again. People are starting to waive inspections, and that's the last thing we want to see. And it's not just here in Arizona. It's in a lot of major metropolitan areas right now, like Florida and Massachusetts. The Boston area is going absolutely bonkers. But this is why, look at our active listing counts. We're down to 11,233, up a little bit this morning. Nothing major. I did see listings kind of climb over the past 7 days, and I saw contracts kind of dip down a little bit, not much, but I think we can just kind of attribute that to Mother's Day. Nobody goes out shopping for a house on Mother's Day. And then we look here, and here's the percent of closings with seller paid concessions are down to 43% from a high of 51%. That's not a major move, but these are about 30 days late. In other words, the seller paid concessions were contracts that were signed last month. So I expect these to start coming down as we enter into more of a strong seller's market like we're seeing now. It's going to be harder for you buyers to get seller concessions. It's just where we're at. How long are we going to stay here? Everybody is going to guess. Everybody's going to have their prognostications, especially here on YouTube. And Jackie says, end graduations, last 2 weeks of May are always slower, even in crazy markets. I agree. And good morning, Betta. So it's just going to be that way for a while. What's going to happen in June? I don't know. I did see somebody asked me, why don't you bring on Reventure Consulting? And I won't. And I did ask him a long time ago, and I sent him a real nice email. Hey, it'd be fun to have a friendly little chat. And I never got a response, but I want to remind the audience, while you're looking through these YouTube channels and stuff, go back and look at some of them. He called the top of the market on June of 2021. And he has a video where he says, I officially call this the top of the market. You're going to see home prices crash from this point on. Well, we all know how that worked out. If I can look at the average sales price, might be a little harder for me to pull up here, but that was not the peak. The peak was actually in 2022, somewhere along, I want to say February. Sorry, I was drifting off there for a moment. So that's a far cry from 2021. So it went up another 30% since he said that this was the basement. And we're seeing a lot of misinformation out there. And I don't predict long term, just because I'm not, even the big dogs don't get it right. I've stated that here before. Zillow doesn't get it right, and CoreLogic doesn't get it right. So, Sean, do you happen to know on a weekly average how many homes are dropping off the market? That would be called canceled listings. Let me see if I can pull that up for you, Sean. And it's pretty low. Um, this is right here. There's canceled, that yellow line there, 112, and you can see it in comparison. Kind of bounces around like my EKG, but it has been considerably higher in the past. So not a whole lot of canceling going on, and expireds are also extremely low. Expireds, I think, for the past 7 days, something like 100 and something. Again, extremely low. So I'm going to try and pull this chart off again. So there aren't a lot of people giving up. They don't have to. The people that are struggling are people that are asking too much for their homes. And we're seeing some of that now, but not everywhere. It doesn't take long for sellers to get word that things are picking up. And we're seeing in listings that are coming up, new listings, new list pricing, they're almost creeping back up to that 2022 level. We'll see. We'll see if they start getting those prices. That we went through a period where when rates doubled, people ran for the hills and said, I'm going to capture all the equity I've got now. I got to get out. This looks bad. It's going to be terrible. I got to get rid of my house. So they ran and tried to list it. It didn't work. And that we had the highest number of expireds I've ever seen in real estate, December 31st of that year. People said, well, I tried. Didn't work. I'm out. I'm going to let the contract expire. So, I'm not seeing that many expireds right now. So it's a really strange market. And the thing is that as people try to look and try to guess and try to figure out where we're at and doom and gloom it, or say that it's great, always a good time to buy, always a good time to sell. Let's be honest. Nobody really knows what's going to happen. This is the first time that we've ever tried to unwind from this level of Fed intervention when it comes to money. And so we don't have anything historically to look at. We've never had this much debt. We've never pumped this much money into the economy. We haven't tried to do a soft landing from this much stimulus. So those that are saying that they know what's going to happen are just guessing. It's there are some things that you can look at too to say, well, some of these trends were continuing before the pandemic, like shopping at home, working from home, millennials wanting to buy a home. Some of those trends were already coming, and we got all this front loaded because of the pandemic, because people got some stimulus money and off they went. And Betta here says, just heard a report on credit card debt getting ready to implode in the next few months. I think that will impact the potential buyer pool. Depends on how much credit card debt people have. Are those people the people I'm going to spitball and say the people that are racking up their credit cards right now probably aren't in the market as a home buyer anyway. Does that make sense? So, because if they're racking up their credit cards right now, they're not credit worthy to buy a home. So they may be dropping out of a market that they were never really in. That would be my flyover at 30,000 foot guess. So I don't think that's going to have a big impact. It's going to have some impact. Now, the banking crisis seems to be kind of under control, but that could go anywhere. Anytime you read the news, you'll see that they're saying, well, there's 700 banks that are teetering, that are in big trouble. And then you'll see people go, well, no, really, it's only 10. So you just never know what to believe on the news anymore. So all you can do is watch it, see what's going on. It all boils down to those two numbers. How many homes are for sale and at what rate are they being sold, which boils down to that simple number of months of supply, and we're at 1.7. Now, when things ratcheted up in 2022, when the interest rates went up, we got up to 3.5, but only for a short period of time. Probably the shortest buyer's market we've ever had in Arizona. I think it was like 2 months. The buyers that went out and bought things then did quite well, especially if you were shopping for an open door home, which, by the way, I think they only have 65 listings now. Remember when they had about 16 to 1800? They're no longer a factor in our market. So Open Door has roiled back, and we're all watching to see what happens. Are they going to jump back in and have another buying spree? Where are they at? I got a feeling they're just kind of in a holding pattern and treating their bruises. Now, Zillow came out with something last week that I thought was kind of dumb. And they said that if we default on our debt, because you've got all this debt talk going on, raise the debt ceiling. Well, if we default on our debt, you could see interest rates go up by 8.5%. Well, first of all, Zillow, we've never defaulted on our debt. We're not going to default on our debt. Both parties are going to threaten it, especially the party that's putting a proposal together says, hey, if you don't take a serious look at this, we're going to go ahead and default. They always do that. And then lo and behold, the last weekend, they pull out a political miracle. It happens every time. And Sean here says, I get monthly offers from Open Door at a decent price. Yeah, a lot of people are. Be interesting to see if you actually wanted to pull the trigger on it. They're sending a lot of postcards. I'm starting to see more ads of them looking to buy again. They're probably starting to ratchet up, but I'll bet you their service fees went up as well, Jackie. They were only charging a 3% service fee for a while, but at one point they were 7%. So they're going to hedge. So they're going to try and get your house at a lower price than they did before. They should. But then they're going to give themselves a cushion by having more of a higher fee. Troy's asking how the market is in Lake Havasu. I don't have access to that data, Troy. I wish I did. I've only got I've got all of Maricopa County and some of Pinal, but I don't have Lake Havasu. I apologize. I would say it's about the same. I mean, really, the numbers that I'm looking at here, with the exception of places like Detroit, are the same all across the country. There's an inventory shortage everywhere. Demand is just enough to start keeping prices coming up. In Seattle, it has turned around. It's coming up like crazy. Florida's going nuts. So you can only find just a few pockets in the country where it's not going crazy. Even the Midwest is doing quite well. So Jackie here says, I'm sure they did, and I bet their buying ratios have changed. I'm sure the margins have changed a lot. So do you see things changing anytime soon? No, I don't. And the reason is I don't see an incentive for sellers to list their homes yet because rates are low. They're sitting in a low rate interest environment. They just don't have the appetite to put their home on the market. And then they're worried that if they do get a seller, they don't know what they're going to buy because there isn't a lot of inventory. So it's a good old catch-22. We could muddle along like this for a long time. New England is scary. New England prices are just absolutely nuts. I saw that on a show that I was on last week. This could go on for a while, Sean. I mean, there's no reason for it to change. We could have interest rates start to come down the next month. That will only accelerate more buyers coming onto the market and maybe incentivize more sellers to put their home on the market so they can take advantage of lower rates. Which, in case you haven't heard, we have Barry Habib is going to be on our show in the middle of June. I don't have an exact date when we're going to air that yet, but he has agreed to give us a half hour of his time. So we're pretty excited about that. Nice to have an expert like him. Any news on rental rates? I can take a quick peek here, but they measure it here in like pennies. So let me see if I can pull up rentals here. Average rental price per square foot. It's going down a little, like to $1.32, up from a peak of. It's averaging $1.35. You had a peak of $1.40 per square foot. You probably get more information looking. Here's the hard part. When we're looking at our rental rates through the MLS, they're only pulling off like single family rentals people who listed on the MLS. But what you don't see are the big apartment complexes all over the valley. Where is their rent going? There really isn't any way to capture that. In your opinion, regarding home values in the East Valley, how important is having a pool? It's either or. I mean, it's most people from out of state want a pool. They just absolutely have to have a pool. People moving from different parts of the valley, some of them say, I don't want a pool anymore. So I don't want to say it's 50-50, but it doesn't really add a whole ton of value to your property. So it just that's been the eternal question in real estate forever. How much does a pool add? I don't know. Maybe 15,000, even though they cost 60,000 to build. Um, we get it. You're a real estate agent and have to be a cheerleader, otherwise you don't make money. No, I'm not a cheerleader. Um, I'm just sharing what the numbers are. I don't. I'm not telling you it's a good time to buy. I am telling you right now that if you're thinking of selling, it's a good time to sell. But I'm not a cheerleader. I'm not pushing an agenda. The numbers I'm sharing with you are the actual numbers. If prices were going to come down, we would start seeing some increase in inventory. So yes, we do get those. Oh, but hey, but Noel, I'm glad you're watching. Thanks for being here. Um, yeah, just that's all you can do is look at the numbers. And if inventory starts all of a sudden shooting up like it did in as interest rates started coming up, you're going to have to go back quite a few shows where I said, hey, if we all of a sudden get to 17,000 like quickly and you're thinking of selling, that's your signal. Put your home on the market because that means we're running up and we're going to get to around 20,000. Then I think that should be your trigger because once we get to 20,000, then it's going to be party over. You're not going to get your asking price. Well, lo and behold, we ran up to 70,000 or 17,000, then we got to 19,000 and it quickly turned around. And so those are the numbers I beg everybody to take a close look at. We're at 11,000, 12,000 homes right now. That's not a lot. What's normal? 27,000. How many did we have before we took the great big crash? 57, 58,000. Thank you, Life in Phoenix. And so that's the numbers you want to look at. Now, our sales, look, don't get me wrong, they are historically low. I mean, there's a lot of people in the industry who are just getting kicked to the curb. Title companies laying off, realtors hanging it up. There's not enough business to go around. Sales are low. But wait, why are prices going up? Because listings are so low. We only have a 1.3 month supply of homes. So the market is active, but not active enough to keep all these 50, 60,000 real estate agents busy. And we can cheerlead all we want for you to go out and buy a house, but it's your decision. I can't convince you one way or another. You should buy up here. It's really nice. But I'm going to continue to do these updates while I'm on the road. And if you have any questions, let me know. And like I stated earlier, I've got some great referral partners. So if there's anything you need, anything you want to look at, just reach out to me. I'll put you in touch and they will take care of you as they have. I've been impressed. So it's been a lot of fun. I am going to be up here for quite a while. My class reunion is Saturday. So I'll let you know how that's going to go. Should be a lot of fun. I went out with my brother and sister-in-law last night and had some pizza. And Keenan here says, tell him, Rick, I'm trying. And Sean, thank you, Rick. We missed you. I'm going to be on more often. I've got my satellite dish sitting up here. I've got Starlink. I got to tell you, I'm impressed. I've got a strong signal up here because I don't have any trees in the way. It's close. If you got trees in the way, you're not going to get a good signal. So, and thank you, Life in Phoenix. I'm here for 3 weeks in this location. Then I'm just moving down the road for a while. And but anyway, I was saying went to a pizza parlor with my brother and sister-in-law last night, and here come a couple of classmates walking in, and they were shocked as hell to see me. What are you doing here? I said, well, I'm here for the summer. So anyway, should be a good time. I'll keep you posted. Thanks for watching. Have a great Monday. Take care, everybody.